Indeed. And greetings unto you, beloved and holy friend. Thank you for joining me again, for sharing another moment, for embracing the relationship we have of change. Right? Same stream. And yet something's gonna be different. Hey, Yabby. Gabby, you know, it's nice having you here, friend. Our relationship with change. Also, something that always changes, and yet something I feel we can all stand to benefit from changing our relationship to change, that is. Because we're all going to have to deal with it, right? To say it in so many ways. Deal with it. And dealing with it is not always easy, unfortunately. In fact, it seems to be getting harder. It seems like we have more to deal with these days than ever. And I've shared this understanding a few times before. Thank you for the friends you're inviting as well. Thank you for becoming a fan. I've shared this understanding before, but this perspective, and I've come to some of the perspective personally with my own experiences. Some of it through the exploration of wisdom with Ellen Watts, some of it David Data, so many influential speakers that have affected my mind. Hi, I'm happy to see you. So excited to be in this space. I'm sorry you can only see this much of my face and my body, but this is what we got. So, awareness slash observer, right? And life change, that which is aware of, right? That is the relationship I believe we're in actively. And as a result of this relationship being so tangible, right? It feels real. It feels very real that I am myself and you are you, right? That I am looking at a piece of technology that I know is taking my image, right? An immortalized version of myself, technically. A fraction, a fractal of myself, all the way to you, for you to be having this experience and be creating the change, right? You are changing this experience because this experience is something, technically, right? This video, this recording as it now is going to be something. But it only becomes what you think it is when you allow yourself to have that relationship with the change. And I'm trying to think of everything, as an extension of that understanding that my body included, like especially my body, is that change, right? And I have romanticized the idea a little bit already in my own life to make it a little bit easier for me to love that relationship a little bit more, to think of myself, this body at least, HIV, it's nice seeing your name, friend, to see this body at least as feminine, right? The divine feminine, the change, the part of ourselves that cannot be controlled. And even if it could be controlled, we wouldn't want that, right? Because the observer appreciates spontaneity, appreciates novelty. And if you are calling the shots, so to say, even though that is something the masculine wants to do when it feels unsafe, right? It tries to predict and it tries to set structures in place so that it knows what to predict. The ideal thing for the awareness to observe is change, is this experience of change. The clouds floating in the sky, right? Always clouds. Sure, we have different names for them, but there is an understanding when you see, these gaseous bodies of water floating in the sky. Your brain says clouds. Yeah. But it's not the same clouds it was yesterday. And it won't be the same clouds tomorrow. There might be no clouds at all. And that change, that experience of change, is what we're here for. That is the relationship we have to get good at. To be okay with how things change, right? I can become, to expand on this analogy, so in love with the clouds that when it's a cloudless day, I can feel deep sorrow, deep sadness that there are no clouds, right? In other words, I am becoming attached to one aspect of the change. right? Sure, there is change, and this change can make for beautiful clouds. But if I'm attached to the change that is the clouds, and there are no clouds, then I'm going to inevitably cause myself suffering, right? So becoming in love with the process of the change, the fact that there can be a completely clear sky, sporadically clouded, completely, water soaked, getting drenched by the amount of water falling from the clouds, and everything in between. And it's something that I'm really trying to learn how to do. The part of the change that I have the hardest time with is discomfort or pain, right? Because it's one thing to like the clouds and the lack of clouds, right? And even though I can, through this example that we made, cause myself some sort of emotional turmoil, emotional pain, by expecting there to be clouds instead of there to be clear skies, I can also cause myself pain by experiencing actual pain through the change, right? And the second one, the actual pain, your body, for instance, suddenly starting to hurt your lower back, your foot, your tooth, your head, your eye, your wrists, your knees, etc., 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 etc. These things starting to actually exhibit physical pain. How do we fall in love with that change, right? Because it's not necessarily something that we want, and yet that's like that what I feel I'm faced a little bit with. Like my foot has been hurting a little bit again after completely going away, right? And it was so beautiful to me how quickly I got used to it not being in pain and there being this genuine sense of carefreeness, right? And then as soon as things change, I had to as well. I had to realize, oh, sometimes the only way for me to really pay attention to the change is if it causes me pain, if it brings with it a certain sense of discomfort. And it's the same thing with everything. It's the same thing with exercise. It's the same thing with cutting calories. Your body thinks it's dying, or you are somehow in danger because there's not as much food left anymore, right? It tries to survive. Trying to build something, the trip that you have with how much you're supposed to be doing, how much you're supposed to want it, right? That change. Because how much you want it changes as well. And it's again a pain thing, right? The pain of you not having the thing that you want outgrows the pain of you experiencing what you don't want, or the pain that is being caused by you having to do what you don't want to do, right? And then we make a radical shift. I've been thinking about our friend Connor as of late, and this trip that all of us really, go through, that we want something, some sort of special event, some sort of happening to fundamentally change us or change our perspective or give us that thing that we need in order to completely change our lives. And unfortunately, as I was considering that as like a simulacrum, as a thing we do, it came up to me that a lot of that significant change, that moment, that experience that is so even traumatic that it causes us to be in so much pain that we have to change, usually is that, right? Traumatic. It's an experience that is so polar to what we believe we should be doing, should be experiencing, that it causes us to try and push in the other direction. And how can we reach that point without having to be in so much pain? And I'm having a hard time knowing. Other than falling in love with the relationship of change, right? That is at least what I'm trying to consolidate as like frameworks in my own mind. That I'm not supposed to try and change the change. I'm supposed to fall in love with the change. The change is something that I get to experience. It's a part of the novelty. It's a part of the depth. Thank you for endorsing, Why wind noise? There's wind noise right now? Oh. I have my microphone on, but it seems my port is no bien right now. Yeah. I tried. I tried. I was hopeful that my phone was, just playing games on me and then fixing itself while I was looking away. But I don't seem to be so lucky. Unfortunately. Change, right? Change. That I got used to changing the stream setup to have decent audio. We paid monies to make sure the audio was good. And now we have to pay more monies to get shit that's broken fixed again. And unfortunately, I'm not close to repair people right now. And I am not close to them because I chose this change, right? So I am responsible. But I am making plans to get into the city again. It's just I don't have more devices to stream with. Wow. Making plans. Making plans. I hope that the wind chills out. If not, let's embrace our relationship with change, shall we? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Joy Vive, I'm sorry about the wind noise. Hey, yeah, Duck Dad, it's nice having you. Joe, joining us too. So happy to be in this sacred space with you. Well, hope you are nothing short of thriving. It's nice to have you here too, Maxie. How are you doing? How's this day finding you? After having been attuned, I feel pretty attuned as well right now. Calm. Almost too calm, unfortunately. Right? Especially since I feel like I'm supposed to entertain sometimes. I'm supposed to say things. Right? And yet, we can sit here and just have this experience together. And we will notice change, right? We will notice so much change. Let me see if I can do something. Mm. Just spend like a moment embracing the change. Even though change is real, right? Like we all believe in change. And it's so clear for us to see. Hey, yeah, Crayon. Thank you for becoming a fan again. It's nice having you here. Always, dear friend. Change is very much a thing, and yet the part of us that is experiencing that change remains unchanged. Influenced. Influenced. Very much so influenced, right? The experience can take on different shades. But the experiencer, right? The eyes looking through the filters that is rose tinted glasses sometimes. Still the same eyes. I'm thinking about eyes getting worse as we age right now. How that is a potential change I'll also get to experience in my life. My eyes literally getting worse. On a trip. I'm doing well. I feel surprisingly light energetically this morning. Had my achievement yesterday. Was a beautiful experience. Came out of the session with tears and a few cramps. I'm happy that that's all you experienced. Some tears and cramps sounds healthy, even natural. You haven't read from your something worth saying journal in a while, Melty. This is true. Uh, what did you have, Grant? This is true. I've actually been leaving it because I've been trying to carry less things. Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I'll read something we're saying. Oh, I'm back in a second. A thing worth saying. Let's see. I did have some stomach cramps immediately after it, but nothing brutal. Love the synchronicity here. I've been feeling overwhelmed lately. All of the drastic changes in the world. I'm trying to stay me, but the me is changing too. And this new skin is kind of scratchy. Yeah, yeah, Joe. Me too, dude. Me too. Exactly that. Beautifully said. That's why I feel maybe I shouldn't be contributing to the information, to the overwhelm, and we should just allow ourselves to remember. Oh yeah, there are moments like this. I mean, you can just look at trees. Let me see if I swap the lenses, if that's better. Is that better? And that looks like a cool scene. Just have that. Some clouds, some trees. I don't have to add to the overwhelm. I don't have to show you my skin. I'm in a new strange place with faces and emotions and humans that weren't there just a few moments ago. Do you mean the stream right now? I'm a little bit confused. I'm happy to hear your system went well. Joe, it won't be itchy forever. This is true. You'll get used to it. I think we're sharing the same fractal. Same too, Dr. All of us. Probably all of us, collectively as humanity. We are going through a massive change. We have been for a long time. It started in the 60s, but we went too hard. We went too hard. We scared people, unfortunately, to the change that's coming. And now we have come full circle where we're going to do it all again in so many words. But we're doing it with technology this time. We're doing it with access to one another. We're doing it with access to tools we've never had before. The fact that I'm reaching out closer to you and you are on the other side of the world right now. Let's read the thing we're saying. This thing we're saying has come up so many times, but I love it. And I feel the fact that it's the first one that came up, especially after Joy Vive asked, is beautifully synchronous. It goes, fear arises from the thought that I am alone, separated from my creator. Yet, in reality, it is the creator perceiving the creator and creating the perception that God is separate from God. Right? The overwhelm, the fear in this relationship we have of the change is but a illusion that you are separate from yourself, alone, separated from your creator. Yet in reality, it is you, the creator, perceiving yourself, the creator, and creating the perception, right? As you're seeing yourself, that God, you, is separate from God. this version of you that you're looking from, this body, this earth, this solar system, this universe, etc., etc. Change. The change looks at the observer, the one that is unchanged, and is so convinced that they're separate because I'm changed and you're unchanging. Surely we're different. Surely we're separate. So silly. So silly. Let me bring us back. Mm, no. Maybe like this. Seems better. Skabam. Sick of. Oh, I'm gonna pour myself a glass of water. Are you drinking water? Drink water. It's good for you. But remember to love your water. Love you, love you, love you. Ooh, love you. Love you too. It's okay to be overwhelmed. It is okay. Mm. Take care of yourself. Just because you're overwhelmed right now doesn't mean that's going to be your state of reality, right? Unfortunately, we are kind of prone to want to create realities for ourselves. Some people's anxiety can extend so far that it creates a need in them to dictate how other people should be living their lives as well. And I'm trying to become aware of that part of me as well, right? Because if I can observe it, then it means surely that that energy is in part of me as well, right? Like I'm also capable of it. But then reminding ourselves that no matter how much we try to control things, things will change, right? Even if you were an all-powerful being, a dictator, a tyrant, and you had, absolute supremacy of rule, things will still change, right? Even if you could force people to do only one thing every single day, things will still change. So I'm trying to pose this question, this thought experiment, from this perspective of feeling powerless, right? I feel like that's been the battle I've been fighting. Feeling powerless against sugar, feeling powerless against our economy, feeling powerless against our electric grid, feeling powerless against change, right? Powerless against change from the perspective of wanting to bring real change and yet feeling powerless against it. And yet, in this moment, the only thing that I can find as a place of solace is the fact that no matter how much power any of us get, right? And power is relative to every single person. Power, in my mind, is the what the fuck? Waarin het geloop was hy? Hy sit aan daardie ding.
Wat die hek is dit?
Links, meer links, meer links. Meer links, hy sal klaar lank. Hy geloop hoor. Vessel is running outside to see what it is. That was basically uit uit soos reguit tipe vlerke gehad. Long body, ja, hy's daai rigting.
Ek kon gesien, maar
Dink of hy nog kom. Power, right? We were talking about power. The fact that we've designed flying machines. Excuse? Dis naby aan ons gewees, so baie naby. Hoe kon hulle dit? Mag hulle dit doen?
Privately owned.
Privately owned?
Privately owned jet.
Power. Ek was letterlik in die middel van 'n rant gewees oor power. Toe dat ding oor my vlieg.
Ja, ik vind het soos 6 vanmorgen en sê, ek wil afgekliep oor hierdie oor.
That's a lot of power, yeah. And
Ja.
yet,
Ek sien aan,
mhm.
dit is nie wasbaar.
En sal as jy dit so baie pla, doen dit in daai oomblik.
Okay, Jan, hou op my koppie gebruik.
Doen dit, wie sal doen dit net? No, he's trying to enact power as well. How silly. How silly. Power to me, that was the point I was trying to make, right? Is just the ability to control yourself. That is what power is to me. And I'm trying to become more powerful. I am. I want to be in better control of myself, my eating habits, my decision making, my responsibility, and my willingness to do hard things. My capacity to be kind and loving, even when things make it hard to be. Also a decision, right? Also a decision. Maybe that is the right way to see power. I feel like a lot of people probably see power as something that you have that allows you to create change in the outside world. And yet, if we can reframe our understanding of power into it being a power over decision making, good decision making for ourselves, and for the ones around us, then it's just a matter of time. Good decisions accumulate, all right? All things accumulate, and we're just trying to accumulate the good stuff. Joy, the body goes through detox systems after going through attunement. This is true, Can. I'm usually joyous and full of smiles and positivity. Lately, I feel like I'm on the outside of the knowledge, and I have become a student of my former teachings. It's beautiful and strange. And it's going to continue happening, Brother Joe. I know that my whole point in these streams is to encourage you, and that might sound very discouraging, right? What do you mean I have been doing all of this work on my spirituality, and I'll go through seasons of feeling like I know nothing? I'm like, yeah, that's part of your work. That's part of the spiritual work, to remember that you know nothing, to be okay with it, right? To realize that is also change, Joe. That is also but change. Fall in love with that relationship as well. And I really know what you feel like, dude. Of course, you have your own divine and unique experience, but trying to compare my divine and unique experience and then the attachment of seeing myself as someone who's supposed to know things, right? I'm supposed to know things and then share it with you friends. Feeling like I don't know anything can be very disheartening. You said it beautifully, strange, right? Yeah. Beautiful and strange, exactly. Beautiful and strange is the change, ceaselessly dancing in front of you. I'm watching with great anticipation and moving much slower and more methodically than usual. That sounds like a win to me, actually, Joe. I don't know what the detox systems are, but I know that period symptoms are, and currently I've cramps myself. I hope you are there. Yours are gone. Thank you for sharing that synchronicity, Joy V. Maybe you're leveling up to a new energy, Joe. I feel that. Melty, Jovan, Joy, Beansy, Duckaroo, Sam, Shan, all of my happy voices that have come with coffee to me. To come have coffee with me. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for sharing such a beautiful fractal. My brother was just me about the coffee cup that I left on the table. I just finished using it and then came and set up my stream. And then he was like, "Skibbity power." Hey, Miles Rodriguez. It's nice seeing you again. I think we've seen Pharma before. I don't think we've seen DC66. Love to all of you friends, if any of you still here. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Feels kind of like that. It also feels like not like that. Just allow yourself to feel. You are worthy of feeling. Notice the change. We are at the tail end of a season, about to dip into the next. Itchiness, listlessness, all normal. Interesting, Joe. But it sounds just like Mel says, ceaseless change. Maybe the you that you are feeling that change. Damn, you're getting buzzed by jets. Yeah. So I was like falling into a fractal as I was reading your message as well. Feeling the change at the jaw. Feeling like we don't know. Oh, there we go. So, when you go through these moments of feeling like you're not yourself anymore, right? All of this work you've done, Joe, all of us, right? And then suddenly we feel less than loving, we feel less than kind, we feel less than wise, we feel stupid in face of all of the overwhelm. Realize that the reason you're not feeling like yourself is because you are changing. You are changing. And this version of you that you have become convinced that you are no longer is, right? I had this as a meditation thought today where I had this fractal of thinking back to my school days. And I don't keep in touch with many of the people I went to high school with. Maybe two, two from different schools as well. And they kind of know me, right, and know what I've been doing. But the rest of the people in high school, I don't do, right, know what I'm doing right now. And if I had to meet one of them now again, one of the things they'd probably say is, "You've changed." And as an answer to having this conversation with myself, I could only come up with a retort of, I have never been the same person, even once in my life, right? That I'm not even the same person I was 5 seconds ago, because I'm now this version of me 5 seconds later. And to be okay with that, to be okay with the old versions of us no longer being, and then to still stay present enough, aware enough, in love enough of that change, to love ourselves, to try and pick the good change, right? Because we can all change in multiple different ways. Change and growth isn't necessarily always beneficial to us, right? You might, from an analogy, grow branches that will end up in the streets, breaking windows or whatever, right? As a fractal to see. The fact that they've gone from Wright Brothers glue to paper, yeah, exactly, exactly. Melty, you're too powerful. They're coming for you. I was like, here, right, here I go, dude. I'm getting bombed. Suddenly, jet comes, get bombed, rain over. Would be hilarious, dude. I'd be like, that sounds right. Crazy plane people. The leap we made from biplanes to landing on the moon is something I think about quite a lot. A few decades. A few decades, right? Less than a human lifetime. We did that, shiznit. Oh, Sam, aliens. Leap that race made in 100 years. Mind-boggling, exactly. It gotta be aliens, must be. I'm going outside to sit in the grass on my break. Love you, gobbity-goo. Oh no, the robot lawn mower is coming after me. You should be able to predict its trajectory. Right. Maybe you can get that bag by getting robot lawnmowered. No, no, I'm joking. I know it's not funny, but oh my goodness, robo lawnmowers. Alien tech really gave us a leg up on the monkeys and the dolphins. Man, that makes me sad, dude. I would have loved to be This the raiding species is a dolphin instead. I get to swim. I get to eat out of the air. Just something flying past me, and I get to eat it. Oh, I guess that's a lot of raw fish, though. Cooking doesn't work that great underwater. Robot lawnmower took some of my toes. Oh my no, dude. Don't joke about shit like that. I'll lose my mind. Oh, I'll just be sitting here stressing out about you. Love you, cop. It smells like hamburgers out there. I feel that I'm in a stage of burnout, going so hard to get the business started from the back end. But now the work time is here and I'm just feeling drained. Yeah. I wish I could say that I knew what to say, Duck Dad. I wish I did, dude. The only thing that I can think of saying even is just keep showing up. I'm feeling the same, dude. I am. I am also tired, right? I'm also tired. And I'm not even doing remotely as much as you. So I can't even imagine how hard it must be for you. Find hours and then just show up and do, right? Even mindlessly, like a zombie. Just become aware of the change that you are influencing instead of thinking of it as work. Caffeinate yourself if you need to. I'm not really a recommender of intoxicating yourself in order to get things done, but it will get easier. It will get easier. I believe in you, Brother Duck Dad. I really do. Well, Eisenhower had that mysterious meeting at the Hoover Dam. The aliens. I mean, there are, unironically, unidentified flying vehicles in our space, in our airfields, right? That travel in ways that normal human beings aren't supposed to. At least it goes against our traditional understanding of physics. So they're here, but I believe they're just observing right now. Maybe they play roles, but I would be surprised. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. I'm pretty finished to eat for breakfast now. Humans are so pretty. Why does he care about a coffee cup? Because power. Because power. Joy V. He doesn't care about the coffee cup. He cares about being able to power, right? Because and like what he wants me to do is take the cup and put it in the washing bin or the we call it a Vosbach, right? So my brain instantly goes washing bin as the easiest translation. Sink. That's what the Americans use. Yeah, put it in the sink. But I go directly from my yoga to streaming, and I go directly from having my coffee to yoga. So I try to take the cup back, but I'm not going to be able to do it right now. And instead of him just taking the cup, right, which will take him absolutely no energy, he was already outside walking back in. Instead of him taking the cup and putting it in the sink himself, he would rather trip out about the power he has, right? He has a certain level of authority to be able to tell me to do something because it's not done right now, right? So I don't know if it's the cup. I just think it's power. People like thinking they're powerful, especially they like having power over others, especially when they feel powerless. Right? Especially then. The Majestic 12. Mm, I'm not getting the reference. I'll try to spin my wheels to make myself productive. It just ends up making me miserable. Take time, right? Do it like a scheduling. Take notice how much time you have in your day. Find out how much of that time you can spend being productive. How much of that time you can spend doing what makes you not miserable, and then how much of that time you can spend taking care of things, right? Not doing it to be productive, not doing it because it doesn't make you miserable, but doing it because it's essential, right? Brushing your teeth, washing yourself, eating, right, etc., etc. And try and compartmentalize. That's the only thing that helps with me, Doc. That, and that's probably a little bit of a masculine approach, but I need to have boxes to know you do things in this box, right? Even if you don't want to, even if it makes you a little bit miserable, you're gonna feel better having done it, right? It might be miserable in the moment, but as soon as you've done it, then the miserable kind of goes away. I don't know if I'm helping, Doc. That I really want to. I love you, friend. hmm You're super smart and can learn new tricks. This is true. Did I miss a few? I did. Because 17-year-old dudes have to feel aggro about everything. It's the rules. Yeah, power. Do you do charge, recharge, and relax? I hope so. Dude, find moments. Joy Vive. I have never felt relaxed and recharged in my life. I usually just burn myself out and let it find equilibrium again. You play with psychedelics. Psychedelics helps me rest, right? Psychedelics, in my mind, is where I find the most rest. Even though I wake up the next day a little bit more tired, there's like a certain psychological level of rest of like, oh, yeah, I remember. I remember why I choose to suffer the way I do every day. ZHK Music. Love you, friend. Thank you for joining me. If you're here still, Anna, sending you love as well. Anna. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. That's a term that I have used for many years. I'm five different people before breakfast. How does the world seem to always stay the same? It hasn't stayed the same, right? It has changed. Even though the change seems to be on some sort of continuum, I feel like we're finally at the precipice where that's going to change as well. Double change. Change of how the change changes, if you will. I know you're a busy dude, but do you carve out time for recreation at all? Thanks, Joy V. I know I can, but usually the needs veg out alone time for brain to reboot, but this for the kiddo and family, I don't have it. I can't see perfectly into your fractal duck that, but I am envisioning moments of freedom for you. Hey, Moreno, love you. Right, just moments, maybe like a minute in between the time you turn on the kettle and when the water is boiled for you to make your coffee. Just you take that moment. Maybe as you're sitting on the toilet, doing your business, just no distraction, no phone, just taking that moment of solace, of spacing out. This moment, potentially. Sending you calm, dear friend. Sorry I can't do more right now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sam, kid wakes up at 8:30, goes to bed at 10:30. Nothing in between. Days are long. Damn, yeah. Just getting ready for work and fighting off a bad headache. Love you, Louisiana. Hope you get better soon as well, dear friend. What did you get? But I'm still high school, dog. Yeah, same. Sam, no, very much a tag team thing, but always in the home. The day kiddos is at grandma's. Three are working. I love my multiplicity and the opposing thoughts. It gives me an option of perspective. I usually embrace the fact that change is the only constant. Yes, that's what the stream is about today. Thank you, Joe, for echoing that. Change is the only constant. The only thing that will be constant in your life forever is the change. Your body will change, your mind will change, your tastes will change, your perspective will change. But the part of you that is the observer stays unchanged. And that part of you that is unchanged is in relationship with the change. It's already so. It how it is in my mind, right? So all we have to get good at is being in a good relationship with that change. A loving one. To see the change, even something catastrophic like our technology breaking. Yeah, it's still telling me my shiznit is broken. It's doing that thing where it disconnects, reconnects, disconnects, reconnects. It has been doing it actively, it's still doing it. Yeah, change, right? And yet I can think of it like my divine feminine cutting her hair into like a short little pixie cut. All right, and maybe I adored long hair on my divine feminine, partner. And then suddenly something changes. Something breaks, right? The hair gets cut. And instead of being attached to it being one way or another, just to embrace that change, to love it anyway. It's not easy, but I believe that is love, right? The ability to endure regardless of what we're going through. This season feels different though. I'm excited and terrified all at once. My core said it's solid. My core strength is solid, and I can always sit in my power when I need a moment to regroup. But I feel like I shouldn't be closing these doors until I can see the other side of the threshold. You have power and drive. You rely on those. Thank you, Brother Joe, for sharing so much wisdom as well. Thanks, Doug. Had the caffeine and a bit of water, but definitely need more water. Yeah, good. Thank you, Lois. Drinking water when we get headaches is my go to medicine as well. We're all helping by giving me space to share. I think I need to take my next work day at a healthy size trip out in the grow shed. That sounds good to me, dude. Some perspective might do you good in that way. I feel great in the mornings after I had mushies. So much energy for some reason. I believe all of that energy is excess serotonin that your brain has laying around. Is the analogy that I think, to share. Very limiting. Gotta remember to breathe. Yeah, thank you for reminding me as well. I get it, I get it. 10 minutes of quiet time can feel like a lifetime of relief because we know how to utilize these moments of silence. You desserts have more than 10 minutes. You deserve more than 10 minutes, my friend. Thank you, Joe, for echoing. All of you friends do, but sometimes all we have is 10 minutes, right? So I agree with you that you deserve more, much more. This relationship you have of change, I don't want you to be stepped on, right? Even though I do find beauty in that analogy, the whole Shiva and Kali depiction of the masculine getting stepped on by the feminine, right? Your awareness getting stepped on by the change. I would like for this relationship with change to be one that flourishes, right? That even though it might be hard right now, even though it might not always be fun and games in so many words, that as we grow this relationship we have of the ever changing mind, the ever changing body, the ever changing experience that we're a part of, it will change for the better because we love it, right? To think of it again in this relationship context of like another person, if you every single time a person makes a mistake, does something you don't like, goes against your plans, batter them, right? Hurt them, break them down, tell them they're worthless, then there's gonna be no hope for the relationship to ever be a good one. And I feel, at least in my own experience, like I'm trying to become the same level of aware with my change, right? With my life, that the only way for my life to get better is for me to praise, to be grateful, to the moments that I do want more of. We had a whole stream on that topic, right? Like every single time you show up in gratitude, you're basically saying to the universe, more of this, please. More of this. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm-mm. It can be hard to accept that change is the only constant. It makes me think of that line from Dave Matthews' song Satellites. Everything good needs replacing. It's bittersweet. I'll listen to it, but I don't know if I'll accept it. Thank you, Lewis, Anna, for sharing that. What is it with dudes and long hair always getting haircuts? Huh? Did I miss something? What is it with dude and long hair? Always like getting haircuts. You like getting haircuts? Is that what you're saying? I hated getting haircuts my whole life. I still do. But that's probably just because I don't like being touched. Like, I've had a very interesting relationship with that change as well. I am unfortunately overly sensitive, especially to other people's physical affection. Right? Like, my mom is one of those people who likes to hold on to us. And I don't like that. I've never in my life liked when my mom holds on to me. And like, I can't imagine how hard that must be for my mom. But it is, again, my unwillingness to accept or to relinquish, maybe, control. That I want to be in control of the change, right? Even if that change is the physical touch on my body, right? Like, if I'm gonna get my hair cut, I can't just turn off my sensory input and then be like, yeah, nah, enough, right? And it's like a thing that I had to get good at as well. I'm thinking back to when I just met my close friends, and there being this melting of how close I'm willing to get to people. And this is now my mind articulating while it's showing me how I used to, for the longest time, not want to be touched at all by anybody, to now sitting on a couch, getting a little bit close to a person and pushing my shoulder up against theirs. Right? Now that's now suddenly I'm touching people. I'm like, yeah, I can touch people. I'm okay with touching people. Change in that way as well, right? Change in what we're okay with, change in what we expect of this world. Oh, what a process. I just wish I was better at it sometimes. Gary, the only constant is change. Yes, I'm happy that you're echoing that truth as well. It doesn't have to come all at one time. You can break up the meditation and reconnect when you find the opportunity. It's true. 10 desserts? Can you name 10? What? Boomerang, right at you, Gary. So much love. Thank you for all of the food items. 90 degrees today, 29 Celsius, and it feels amazing to stand in the sunlight today. Embrace. Thank you for sharing even the mind space. I can stay indoors today. I can. You want to? Hey, Isaac. Good sleepy morning, y'all. I'm feeling pretty sleepy myself. Love you. Isaac, it's nice having you here as well. A wild Isaac appears. Melty, I have thought you were a hugger. That's interesting. I am a hugger, but I had to become a hugger, right? And it's almost like, again, as I mentioned, it was like a relationship with change, where this thing that I felt I was neglected of, partially because of my own unwillingness to accept love, is something that I realized I could give to other people, right? I really enjoy hugging a person, but it's almost like that's where it needs to stop, right? Like I'll give you a 10-second hug without batting an eye, but if we sit next to each other and it's hot, especially, and you put your knee against mine, I'm gonna have a bad time. Right? Technically, getting touched significantly less than you do get touched when you're hugging someone. And yet, I would not be okay. Nah. Touching me! You're still touching me! Kitty is digging herself a little hole in the ground and dropping deuces next to me. I didn't have to share that information with you, but I felt it was so beautifully in sync with the sharing and the experiencing of change. Thank you, Kitty, for changing my environment a little bit. Want to hug the world? Yep. I think we all do. I think if we all made the commitment to hug the world, we will be able to. The man that doesn't like being touched wants to hug the whole world. It's more an autonomy thing, right? That's why I understand Pippi not wanting to get picked up as well. It's like if I am the one initiating the hug, then I'm okay with it. It's control, it's change, it's power. Again, right? Even me, I'm victim to these bullshits. It's like an initiation thing, right? If I'm walking in the street and then suddenly someone runs up to me and hugs me from behind, I'm also not gonna have a good time. I'm gonna be like, oh hell no, what the hell is happening? So, circumstantial, I guess. As all things sometimes is. Understand that feeling. I very much enjoy hugs and touching of those I feel comfortable with, but not big on it from others. Do you, Joe? I love that physical touch. Love, love, love. I mean, you do give people head massages as well, right? I don't love strangers touching me. I don't know how people get massages. You disconnect. That's how, right? And like it's like change. Instead of becoming attached to the fact of what the change signifies, right? That there's two bodies, one body laying on something and another body mangling your back muscles. You completely dissociate and you just become completely present within your awareness. And then you notice change. You notice how these feelings feel on your back instead of thinking about the fact that you're being touched, right? It's like you take control over the experience. You fall in love with the change, right? And it's hard. It's hard. It's like something that I'm noticing more now than ever. It's like I'm watching all of this behavior from afar, being like, oh my goodness, am I crazy? Is this hard for everybody? Na, na, na. I don't touch many humans. I don't either, unfortunately. I'm an empath of some kind. I feel what others feel, and it can be so overwhelming. Ironically, says Isaac, I had one of the best massages yesterday. I really needed it to be, I was not intense. I slept all wonky and got maybe 3.5 hours of sleep, and now my neck hurts. I hope you feel better soon. What a trip that you got a massage that recently. Also, I don't particularly like my mom touching me either. It hurts her feelings when I jerk away, but I just don't like it. Yeah, my mom's feelings also get hurt, Joy Vive, and that hurts my feelings, right? Because I don't want anybody's feelings to being hurt, but I also don't like being touched without consent. I don't know if anybody likes being touched without consent, I guess. Right? Maybe that's the wisdom we should take. Be in love with change with consent. Can I love you, Mama Gaia? Give me answers through wind and bird noises. Okay, I accept. Oh, I absolutely love. Wait, I think I missed a few. Funny how the universe works. So like animals instead of people. Exactly. I very much have a crazy overacting empath that affects me well. Same for the misses. I absolutely love and appreciate when my chiropractor gives me a neck and shoulder rub. The change. Susanna and Marak. I don't think I've seen your name before. Thank you for joining us. It's nice having you here. We're talking about change today, and we have gone through some change. My mind feels like it has been changed. I feel like my understanding of the layers of change have been a little bit expanded. It's still hard for me to really understand or consolidate what I'm supposed to be doing specifically, but the overarching idea is that there is the unchanged, your awareness, right? The part of you that's aware, and then there is the change, the things you are aware of. That little bird sitting on the stick there, this body, it changing as well. The moon, the clouds. And instead of expecting that change to be one way or another, falling in love with that change. Really falling in love with it. So I'm trying to consolidate in my mind. How are you doing? Any wisdom coming to you these days? So this morning I decided, nope, not going to struggle through this day fighting off the sleepy. I'm going to wake back and sit in the blanket and work until it's time for tomorrow. I love you, dude. Thank you for showing up, regardless of how tired you are. I went on a cruise last night and got a Swedish massage from a little person. It was amazing. Not a little person, like a small individual that climbed on my back. I'm so confused. Weirdly enough, I've also wanted a person getting on my back massage. I've seen that there are these massage parlors that have like a pole on the roof as well, and then the person basically holds onto the pole and they use their heels to like step into your back. And with the amount of pull-ups I do, I can kind of see the appeal. Knots and so, right? I haven't gotten a massage in 7 years. A little bit more than 7 years though. I don't know if I'll be getting massages anytime soon. A lot of our massages will probably be robotic in the future as well. There's definitely going to be a niche for people that still want to do person on person massaging, if you will. Sounds so saucy bossy talking about it. But we already have those like electronic massage chairs, right? I'm just trying to imagine this like super bourgeois massage parlor where you basically go and lie in this like little star formation, and then another thing basically paninis you on the inside. I mean, there's probably gonna be some room for claustrophobia, but then you can like adjust how much pressure you want, or it asks, or it has some sort of measure, some sort of force, that it can pick up how hard it presses on you, and then it will know, even be able to like go in with like full body scans before you even go and get your massage, know exactly where you need be massaged. Then there's like some level of disconnection of the change, right? You can be like, this is just a mindless machine. This machine can't sexualize me. Can it? It's probably going to. Oh goodness. Oh no. What are we doing? What are we doing? Joe, it's nice having you here, friend. Sending you love, uncontrollable empathy, and often be a symptom of a stiff heart chakra. It's true, actually. Do you meditate frequently? Thank you for asking. Joe, Loki telling us he went on a little person massage escapade. So interesting. It's like with my feet, but I'm ticklish. But I feel so calm by people's hands on me. I'm happy that you have that reaction to it. I feel like that sounds more healthy than mine necessarily. Not wanting people to touch me. Thank you all for the healing help today. I will carry it with me throughout the day. May you find what you're looking for find yourself. Doctor, I don't know if you're leaving. We love you, dear friend. I keep my heart pretty guarded, and that certainly has its burdens. Oh, yes. Spend a wee bit more time there, and make sure your petals are moving, opening and closing the way they should. Beautifully said, Sam. Joel saying, Melt, I relate to what you're saying. I'm a hugger, but I don't like uninvited touching. I had to ask my mother not to come up and hold onto me from the back or the side because it makes me uncomfortable. And it makes all of us uncomfortable in my family as well. That's the thing that kind of confuses me, Joe. It's like my mom also is the same as your mom in that way, where she likes holding onto my side or, putting her arms around me, and that's not something I particularly enjoy, and it's not something that Vessel enjoys either. She doesn't do it that much with Rudo, or at least since Rudo isn't here, I don't really have the means to see it. But Vessel was even worse than me, where like he gets aggressive to try and get away from my mom. To me, it's just like a no, so leave my mom with me. Please stop it. Love you, Joe. You're not weird for it. At least I like to believe. Autonomy, the relationship change, I guess, right? Something that's also growing. 1 year, my job hired a couple of masseuses to come in and give massages to the staff. I worked instead. I didn't want those strangers' hands on me, and everyone thought I was weird. Yeah. I'm just imagining, like you explaining that scenario to aliens. That's what I like to do when I hear weird things that humans do like that. Like instead of like I'm imagining aliens having watched traditional pop culture, movies, and knows what strippers are, for instance. And then instead of them being strippers, they're just people that come and actually touch you. And like these aliens are convinced like that is like the more hardcore version of whatever, strippers are. Like these people are actually gonna touch you, and they're gonna like really get up in your muscles while you are laying with your face away from them. Like they can just stab you in the nape. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If they wanted to, right, you have to be very vulnerable. And then that conversation happening between your colleagues, thinking you're the weird one, and the aliens are like, yeah, this one is the only one that's normal, pointing to you, Joy. I can't count the amount of professional massages that I have had in my entire life on one hand. They were cool, but it's a bit odd. Yeah, it is transactional, unfortunately, still. And you can't help but think about the person that's doing this job as well. And I've given my dad a fair bit of massages because it's, again, I disconnect from the fractal of what is happening, and I just imagine it is myself, right? It is change. And I am just the observer observing this change. And my dad is me, right? And his body is getting older and hurting as well. My brain is getting melted right now. Strangers rubbing me isn't a fun feeling of, oh no, super sensitive to physical touches. And some folks have wonky energy. Sam, my cousin has her massage certificate, and when I absolutely need it, she works on me. It's weird all of the time, but it's less weird than if it was a total stranger. My fam is so touchy. We always massage one another. I still go sit on her lap just to be close to her, lay my head on her shoulder. I love that. I don't know who her is in this moment, though. Jovan. Mom, maybe? Sam, I don't like touching my butt, showing my butt, but they seem like they want to see it and touch it. It's a hard to relax during those moments. Yeah, it's the releasing, right? The surrender that I feel our masculine minds have a big problem with as well. Change is the natural state of the world, the universe, growing, becoming more. With that, with what was a part of what it becomes. What will be becomes what was. Beautifully said. It's nice seeing you here, Corey. So much love to you, beloved Nanner. You sit in your mom's lap, Joe? My comfortability with touchiness really depends on my closeness with people. Personal massages are pretty nice if I can afford to pamper myself, but not a fan of strangers' arms around me. Your mama. Okay, yeah, thought so. Exactly, right? Like if it's a person that I like and they put their arm around me, I'll still have like an increased sense of the fuck you doing, but I'll be like, and then I'll be like, okay, this is fine. This is fine. I don't care of this. Right? But if it's a person that I don't know, a stranger doing the exact same to me, I'd be like, oh hell nah. I don't know who you are. I have a hard time accepting people touching me that I know. I don't know you. I don't know who you are. Oh, you got them juicy cakes that just scream to be squished. Glute massages is part of the package. I opt out usually, yeah. My booty has received a few compliments over the years. Never really thought of it like that. Apparently, women also look at booties. Hey, Guadalupe. Better not look at my booty. We have 47 up, dudes. Shan, how about that? Oh, and it's nice seeing you here too, Chili White. My back is a little bit getting taxed. Like I'm sitting on a slope. Oh, so I've been correcting this whole time. Ooh, ooh, lol. It's one of my close friends. I'll just snuggle up with them. Usually one of my guy friends trying to be funny. I'm also okay with getting close to my guy friends, but only if I'm choosing to, right? Like if, for instance, if I'm tripping out, you know, under the influence of psychedelics, I'll be completely okay with being in that mushy closeness, right? Shoulder to shoulder, maybe even heads on shoulders. That'll be okay with because it's like just a sense of camaraderie in that moment. But I'm tripping out about how if something changed, right? If it wasn't just me, Christian, Johan, and Adam, right, chilling in that space. If there's like a random person that just walks into the room that I don't know, and comes and snuggles his way in between us, all of us probably would collectively like, what are you doing? Hey, Chili, thank you for becoming a fan. Probably lose our minds, right? That change. I still have a hard time falling in love with that change. I guess maybe that's what I'm supposed to be taking away from this. As much as I dislike family, friends, and strangers wrapping arms around me and holding on, I'm the opposite in romantic relationships. There, I welcome it. Same, Joel. Shame. Maybe that's why, right? Maybe it's like a reserved thing for us. Like being held that way is only reserved for our romantic partners. And we don't want that same energy from anyone else, I guess. That's how I think about it sometimes, at least. I'll hug you if you need it, but I would prefer if you didn't like touch me casually. Exactly. I hear you, Sam. There's an old guy at my work who is a bit touchy. Yeah, when they like really grab, like people that grab onto you when they talk to you. Oh, maybe it's a trust thing, Joel. I mean, we expect our romantic partners to touch us, right? Cause I'm the same. Yeah, trust. Like for me, it's like energy. That's the way I'm thinking about. What do you think about that, JV? Like it's like that type of touch facilitates. Maybe it's oxytocin. I think that is what it is, right? Like getting touched facilitates oxytocin bonding, and we might not want to be bonding with our family members, right? As weird as that fractal opening it up even creates. I really like cuddle puddles though, when the right folks are in the pile. Yeah, all snuggled up and watching the stars and the bonfire and just being mammals. That's pretty awesome. You see, like it's interesting to me that there are distinctions that we make in our own minds, Joe. Joe. like I'm tripping out about that right now. Like the fractal of a stranger just walking in and cuddling with you. You might not be okay with that, and it just being this familiarity, right? If that person, could spend a week with you and you could in depth get to know them, learn their soul, then suddenly you might be okay with them joining the cuddle bubble, but not if not if you don't know, right? If you don't know what change could occur, with what lack of control you have. He usually puts his hand on your shoulder and is like, damn it, Mike. But he touches someone on the lower back and he got an earful. My Phil does it. My father in law does it to me occasionally and I snap. I want to be on my terms, that's all. Yeah, Corey, if he's really that old, he's old enough to remember getting slapped at least once. Touching costs extra. That's how you end that, Ninja Nanner. I look super cuddly, strange. I must look super cuddly. Stranger seems to want to touch me. I have so many stories. Do you like being touched, Joyleaf? I don't know if you've shared too much. I mean, you did mention that your mom likes touching you, and you also don't like that. You have to get away from it. But so the fractal that I'm noticing is how being touched for some people might seem like a sense of validation, right? Like someone touching you might make you feel seen more so than someone actually looking at you. Right? I feel touched having looked at you like that for a second. Joe, did I miss something? Probably true, Sam. I think he knows not to do it to females, but most guys are not a fan of it. Haven't seen him do it in a while, so he probably had someone say something to him. Yeah. It's unfortunate, right? Because it is just the one to connect at the end of the day as well. But not everybody is comfortable with that much change, right? The change going from not getting touched to being touched. That's a big change. That's a little bit too much. Too extreme. Well, I know you sort of, Corey. We've had conversations and I know what you look like. So I wouldn't have a problem hugging you. That's nice. That's very nice, actually. I would like a hug from Joy Vive. Much like I might like a hug, a cute, fluffy bear I encountered in the woods. In both cases, I know better. Joy to kids. I'm known as Scary Guy. So that's a good thing. You're the scary guy? I guess I'm the scary guy as well. What's wrong with him? Oh, he's just way gone. Like all up there. We have this terminology in South Africa that goes a tor op a proppie, right? That there is an infinite ocean inside your brain, and there is a little bug, a tor, one of those dudes flying behind me right now, sitting on that little, like cap or whatever, like some sort of drink cap. And then he just pulls little strings, and then depending on what strings he pulls, you say things or move or whatever. And then if you're completely lost it, yo, Thor is van sy prop af. Jou Thor van sy prop af. Are you crazy? My Thor is heeltemal van sy prop af. Van lank al. Maar ek's okay daarmee. It's alright. Having your Thor on its prop doesn't serve you, apparently. At least not in my world. I feel like the energy we have within is sacred. I don't like being touched unless I truly trust and know that person, Sam. You don't seem scary to me. Are you talking to Corey? You're talking to me, right? Like I feel like scary is different things to different people as well. Same beans. I super go nuts about sharing the mushy feels. As much as I love it, it's just as difficult to get into my bubble. I'm so reserved and skittish if we don't connect. Yeah, it's like a polarity thing, right? It's like a unity. Like there is this line that I sent to Christian that he obviously resonated with. It goes something like it's like a short poem or koan. Can't remember the person who wrote it. I'm sorry, but it goes something like, "I took some LSD and remembered that I am one with everything. But then I went to sleep and it wore off, and I realized I don't want to be a part of most of you fuckers or something like that. And I was like, oh, dude, I get what you're saying. Dude. Why did you have to be so brutal? So to take that energy and just realize that we can choose. It's okay, right? You have that choice to choose who you want to be touched by. Fortunately, because it's your body. It's your body. It's your change. You get to choose. Yup, the energy. Don't mind being touchy feely with friends and lovers, except when it's hot. Yeah, don't expect hugs and don't you dare touch me. I'm also the same with the hotness. Yeah, like, please no. Did you say LSD? Are you tripping right now? I'm not tripping right now. Chase too high. I did say LSD. I'm sober at this moment. I don't know though if I am, right? I don't know if I've been sober in a long time. At least what I would consider sober. I I feel I've lost whatever that state of mind used to be. You know, and it's like uh reestablishing. So this is the way I think of it. When you take something like LSD or mushrooms or DMT, for example, you go from being completely identified with the change to realizing how much more there is within your awareness of the change, right? And I have, through practice, I guess, through meditation, through mindfulness, through journaling, through these streams, mostly become so identified with my awareness that I get to be in love of the change. Even though it still trips me out, right? I still fight with it. At least I'm trying to be aware. Trying to be aware. I'm not perfect, but I don't think we're supposed to be either. So maybe that's okay. Yup, the energy transference is most of what overwhelms me. Having to go to school, work every day was excruciating because I felt like I was walking around without any skin. Poisonous. It has its advantage. I wear armor because I want a buffer. That was a good song. Love you, Joe. I'm also not sure about the song you're talking about. I'm guessing the song's name is Poisonous. Yeah, I've had to learn that a daily clear ground protect is essential to not picking up and absorbing other people's energy. It's made me bring out, it's made being out and about so much less stressful and intense. Grounding yourself again. Luda, Luda, Ludi, Ludi. People, people, Ludi. Us, the people. Yes. The change. Nobody's perfect, brother. Fortunately, right? If any of us were perfect, we'd probably not be able to communicate with one another because you would be so perfectly communicating the things you understand that you would have to, by definition, transcend human language. And I'll be like, oh, ludicrous, luda. I'm also not sure. I just want to raw dog it, Joe. My thought was the more I break down my foundation, the stronger it'll be. It wore me down after longer than I thought it would take. Then I began to understand the value of a certain kind of disconnect. I'm not sure if you're saying what I think you're saying, but I'm watching you let go of the world. And as you're letting go of the world, your hand is being filled with awareness, right? Letting go, disconnecting in one way, but that disconnection only allows you more depth, more connection in another. Redistribution of your energy. Melty, you have a lovely profile. You've been in profile most of streams. He's pretty smexy. Oh no, did it break? In a way. There we go. Back again. Yeah, as I was considering the way I look like, the whole stream just collapses. It's like, oh no, please, let's stop doing all of that. In a way, I suppose, Mel, it was more the I can't solve everyone's problems and make them happy while not worrying about myself. That's very synchronous, brother Corey. Today in my stream, or in my journal, I wrote down, how am I supposed to help others if I don't know how to help myself? And I was like, oh, I had to consider. I'm still considering. Thank you, JV. I unfortunately don't get to see the side of my face. Every time I look back, I am looking back at myself. Stop. Look forward so I can look at you. I said, Corey, that's how Fruit Cup and the Peach. How is Fruit Cup and the Peach? I do hope that everyone and everything is okay and that health and happiness are in your world. Thank you, Joe, for echoing that sentiment, friend. Oh, take a breath. Notice the change. Notice the body. Notice the mind. The mind is also a part of the change, by the way. Right. Also changing. Melt, you didn't answer for yourself. How do you feel about affection received and given from friends and lovers? I choose. I guess I'm selfish. I guess I'm a little bit selfish, right? Because, and this is now me paraphrasing in part a book that I've read as well, The Way of the Superior Man by David Data, where affectionate love from a lover, when I'm in one state of being, would not serve me, right? For instance, let's say I have a girlfriend. Pippi, can you relax, please? I feel Pippi is kind of making the point I'm trying to make as well, though. Beautifully so. Let's say I have a girlfriend, right? And now, even though I might very much like my girlfriend and enjoy kissing her, if she comes up to me in the middle of stream and wants to start passionately kissing me, I'm not gonna have a good time. Right? I'll still love her just as much. I'll still enjoy kissing her, I guess. But I'm not going to be in the right space of mind. I'm not going to be the right version of myself for that energy in that moment. And I guess that's the way I feel about it, Joy Vive. Fortunately, I am receptive to camaraderie, loving energy, especially initially, right? Like I'll hug a person without knowing them because I know that I can give lovingly to them in that hug. But after that, the circumstances change, right? Now that we have introduced one another to each other, we have kind of shown one another there is trust in the way where we'll give each other a hug. Now that trust needs to be built upon, right? And for you to gain access to the privilege of getting to touch me again, there are going to have to be a bunch of nodes turned, right? Time, circumstance, relationship, depth of understanding, polarity as attraction. And with friends, it's usually like a polarity state thing as well, where if we're going to be comfortable and sitting down, I'd be okay with, pushing a shoulder up against someone if the temperature allows. But again, if I am in a state of energy where I feel uncomfortable, even just putting my own limbs on my own body, then I'm also, even though I might be okay with you as a friend getting close to me, in that circumstance, in that polarity, in that change, I won't be. So I hope that wasn't too wordy. Thank you for asking, Joy B. Both are sick. Fruit Cup woke up vomiting on the weekend, but she's getting better. She's getting her appetite back. Peach is a nasty cold that's messing with her beautiful voice. I'm sorry to hear about of those things, Corey. I hope they feel better soon, friend. Thank you for being the strong dad in that space, for keeping them, up as well. Thank you for sending love, Shan. Have you made the sick time soup, Corey? I hope so. Me too. Peach has been sick for a few weeks now. Hopefully, it's gone soon. She has the next 2 days off, so hopefully that helps. I hope she gets to rest properly. I like broccoli, cheese, and soup. All of those things sound nice. Cheese over broccoli is kind of a vibe. Chicken and dumplings have been my craving for a while now. I haven't had dumplings in so long. We love you guys so much. Thank you for sending that love, Corey. We love you too. Thank you, Jovan, for doing the same. You just inspired an audible response of that comment. That's so nice. Thank you for echoing that love as well. Sending it back to Joy. Eating so much in this winter. Stinky pig is worth the luxury. Yes. Oh, the change. The change. Oh, goodness. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, my back is killing me. I've been sitting at like this is technically completely level, at least with the slope of the ground or something. Is it? I've been fighting the slope. I'm rolling into it. Oh, 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 let's pull a card, shall we? Dodge Joe. It's not with love. Hmm. Change is the only constant, and I shall fall in love with him. Change shall not bring me down. Change shall be my crown. Ooh. Feel like this is the perfect card for today's stream. We've pulled this one a few times. Seems to be a reoccurring theme. We pulled it upside down. But we pulled this one. Night into day. This card is so cool to me. A sun rising, a moon shining, clouds and the arcs, a crossing point, hawks and eagles on the one side, an owl guardian on the other. Woo, woo, woo. Purple and yellow. There's definitely some yellow beams coming from that sun. In my mind, purple ones coming from the moon as well. You need a massage, Melty. Maybe, JV. Expecting Gob and his asparagus sign any moment now. Gob is chilling on the grass in a park somewhere. He's looking out over the change, experiencing the beauty thereof. Card number 32. Night into day. Graceful transitions. All of us feel like we're transitioning, right? Going through experiences, moments of change. Yellow lines. I want a giant cat head, and I want to wear it when I'm out and about. When people try to talk to me, I get to say, "Don't talk to me. I'm a cat." Boobs. There Gabby is. Yes, I mean, you can be a furry. We live in a time and age where being a furry is becoming more and more acceptable, Joy Vive. So that reality that you want isn't completely out of reach. Hey, boss lover, ball sover babes. Interesting username. We pulled this card today. Sacred geometry. Graceful transitions. The reverse meanings goes, it may feel as if you are in darkness or stuck in between, echoing what Joe has been feeling and bringing to the space with us as well that we can kind of resonate with. Ask for guidance from your higher self to help activate graceful transitions. Magic and grace fill the moments just as dawn is breaking. This is a time of transition, dark into light. As the world turns and displays a new day, oh yeah, Owl guardians. My brain is getting melted. Owl guards the night as hawks patrol the day. Golden spirals form a dynamic five flower, spinning the blossom of graceful transitions. Transition is afoot in your life. Each of us is consciously shifting, expanding, and transforming. Change Change may seem so gradual that you hardly notice. Or you may be poised in the moment between night and day, about to embark on major life transitions. We got the change. Whether these transformations were brought about by circumstances or by your own intentions, you are required to expand your vision of what is possible and to embrace your desire for growth, joy, and freedom. The age in which we live spins so fast that sometimes feels as if we are just beginning to understand how one event has touched us when another arrives without warning. Realize that even radical change does not have to be traumatic. How may you more gracefully accept and move through the events in your life? How may the way you view change help your evolution to flower more gracefully? You are invited to view each transition you experience as another of life's adventures. Allow the owl and the hawks on this card to symbolize a knowing that you are guided and protected in your personal evolution as you consciously move out of darkness into the morning light. Let this card be a signpost to graceful transitions. Yow! Bow. We got the perfect card. Change. They even use the word change twice. Twice? Yeah. Only twice. Change. Falling in love with change. This question: how may the way you view change help your evolution to flower more gracefully? A point that Sam also made with the heart chakra, right? Right? Yeah, you did, Sam. I was paying attention. Yeah, I do that sometimes. Change. Thank you, friends, for helping me, for reminding me to fall in love with it, to be the change I want to see, right? Beeps. I just say that love you all so much. Love you, dude. I saw an owl on the way home last night. Thought of the space and wondered about what Max Beans would say. I always, when I like, I feel like most of these cards have like spirit animals in them as well. Maka, Vico, nice having you here as well. So I always think about our beloved Shan when we pull the animal cards. Oh, good, Joe. I got big shoulders, and this is easy compared to the stress I experienced growing up. You got this, dude. No, I just want the cat head, not a cat suit. I thought about this a lot. You can just put on the cat head. You don't have to go full fur. You can just go face furry. Oh, no, Corey, I understand that feeling. Broad shoulders can work. Hold up worlds, yes. Just know that we're capable and willing to support our loved ones and their loved ones. Sending you strength. Thank you, Joe. So much love. It's what we do when we love people, Joe. Pick up any slack when they need us. Pick them up when they don't realize they need it. Pick them up and, walk with them in the same direction. Right? Like, I feel like that may be the confusion. Because all of us are going in the same direction. Right? Sure, change, but change towards the betterment of all, of humanity, of our living standards, of the quality of life of ourselves and our families, our loved ones, our community. Thrice blessings to you too. I watched you change into a fly. I look away. You were on fire. Are you seeing metaphysically? Am I on fire right now? I might be. Hopefully it's a healing fire. Dogs are playing behind me. That's my favorite band of all time, Joy. Ah, it's an old Deftones song melody. Yeah, that probably makes a little bit more sense. I was like, wait a second. I'm not on fire, am I? Am I a fly? Skip it. I love you, friends. Thank you for joining me, for embracing this change, for showing up for something that might be similar, right? Same thing, me streaming every day. And yet, it has always been full of change, full of differences, full of experience. And you, friend, made it what it is, right? Both in the context of if you're watching this as a recording, you were the one that changed this already existing experience into one that you get to have. And by your actions, by your willingness to send messages, you also influence what was said in the stream. Double change. Gang, gang. Thank you, friends, for joining me, for sharing some love, for embracing the change. I look forward to seeing you, friends, again very soon. Eternal blessings to you. Breathe. There's gonna be change. Yeah, I'm terrible, I know. Love you. I'll see you again soon, friends. Tomorrow, back in the space. There we go. There is Shan sending love, sending you love too. I hope the stream helped your friend. I thought about you the whole time. Love you so much. Love all of you. Thank you for joining me. See you soon. Cheers, cheers.